We have an oil tanker blown up, and it's now a 4 times worse oil spill than the Exxon Valdez. Have you heard a single thing out of the environmentalists? No, you haven't, because it's in a war zone, and cleanup is not even really possible. We have RFK pulling out of the presidential campaign, and let's just say he burned the house down on the way out. We'll cover that. We got another ship running aground in blocking the St. Lawrence Seaway. We also have a railway strike update. We got arsenic in apple juice with a big recall out there. And the economy slowing down. That and more updates. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. It is Saturday morning. We'll get you up to date on what's going on out there. These are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over around the world. Please do keep them coming in. If you have an update to share with the group, please use the word update somewhere in your comment, and that will get it to the right place. Please make sure you give us a geographical location if it is relevant. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have a retirement account, it's one of the easiest preps that you can do, and it's one of the biggest preps you can do. I'm not saying it's something you should take lightly, but if you have a large amount of money, that's a big prep you can do, getting physical metals. If you want to talk about some of that with somebody, Jonathan and his team would love to talk to you, answer your questions. I've talked to many of you guys who have dealt with them, that they do not pressure you, right? And that's important, that they give you information and then you can make a decision for yourself. If you want to find out more, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, let's move over to this oil tanker. This is a big deal. The Houthis returned the adrift oil tanker MV Suyin, apparently placing demolition charges on it and blew it sky high. The crew had abandoned ship earlier this week. We had covered that. It was a ship that was attacked by 3 projectiles after being attacked by several small boats. It drove the small boats off. Then several missiles hit the ship and set it ablaze. It lost engine power, and a French ship came and evacuated the crew. It has now been demolished. We're looking at now 150,000 barrels of oil spilled into the sea there, and that is 4 times worse than the Exxon Valdez. Now, I don't know if you remember that, but the Exxon Valdez was a huge disaster. We were told that it was the end of the world. This was the epitome of environmental damage. This oil tanker just now, 4 times bigger of an oil spill. But it's not going to go for the political purposes of the environmentalists. And so therefore, you know what you're going to hear from the environmentalists? Nothing. You're going to hear nothing from them. And that just goes to show the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. If they can't blame it on some white men and a corporation, I guarantee you they're not going to blame the brown men. Nope. They won't do that. Definitely not Muslims. Nope, they're okay. They can keep immigrating and everything. So RFK spoke to the nation yesterday on the many wrongs of the politicians in power. As he backed out, it was a speech worth watching. So if you haven't seen that already, I'm going to try to link that at the end of the video today. He burns the house down on the way out, speaks a lot of truth. I think you'll agree with 90+% of what he says, and you're going to realize that he's really saying a lot of things that nobody wants to say. It was so uncomfortable that CNN decided to start talking over him, muted him, kept him on the screen because they're still covering the speech, but they didn't like him talking about how the left rigged things against him. He then endorsed Donald Trump, and later that day, yesterday, appeared at a rally with Donald Trump. Interesting things afoot. This is from Forbidden Trust. St. Lawrence Seaway has a ship stuck in the canal. Cargo ship ran aground yesterday. My sister lives up there, up in the north, near the area, and told me yesterday. Let's see if I can get this right. The Heemskergacht from the Netherlands, the cargo ship carrying scrap metal, hopefully will be free sometime this morning. At least that's what officials are trying to say. They are apparently going to have to unload the scrap metal cargo and fuel in order to try to refloat it with tugboats. Some are more skeptical on the timeline. It ran aground Thursday, trying to turn around, apparently. When you see the picture, I don't know how they were trying to turn around. That doesn't seem possible. Apparently, they had a failure of an engine or something like that at the same time, and then they got stuck hard. And that is a major, major issue. The St. Lawrence Seaway, of course, is how you get from the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, into the Great Lakes. You have to go through the Seaway in order to get into the Great Lakes. You got to go through some locks in order to get into the Great Lakes, but then you can get to Chicago and Montreal and Detroit and all these ports all along the Midwest, right? That's how a lot of grain gets out to markets. That's how a lot of crops get out. And so this is the time when these ships need to get in so they can get loaded up and get a lot of that grain out of the U.S. And having that seaway blocked for any bit of time is a big, big deal. Speaking of blockages, we have the Canadian railway strike is apparently over because the labor minister signed a letter declaring it so. Is that the proper process? No, it's not. It's not the proper process, but he couldn't get the votes to do it the proper way, so apparently he just decided to just do it and exceed his authority in doing so, apparently. Workers are now being forced back to work under penalty of law. Last I just saw, the union was deciding whether or not they were going to comply. Because basically, this isn't even the government. This is the labor minister, basically just by fiat declared that they're going to, the workers as well as the railways are going to be forced into arbitration. Again, under penalty of law. And another tyrannical overreach by the Canadian government. That's just the truth of it. And I don't know. I mean, how would you feel about it? It's like the government says you have to go to work. You can't quit. You can't take sick days. You can't strike against your own company if you cannot come to an agreement collectively. You must go to work. Sounds like slavery to me. It kind of sounds like slavery. When you don't get to choose how much you're working for. Lucas Family Farm points out apple juice sold at Walmart has been recalled due to high arsenic levels. This recall is affecting 27 states. It is 8-ounce juice bottles in 6-packs. So if you have any apple juice in 8-ounce bottles in a 6-pack, this is affecting the East Coast, Midwest primarily. You may have your apple juice may have been recalled due to high arsenic levels. Of course, there is the Purdue breaded chicken recall, chicken nugget recall. We talked about that earlier this week, but it is gaining more traction out there in the news. I'm sure some of you guys are going to bring that up sooner or later. Again, we did cover that on Monday. There is a major Purdue chicken recall out there as well, breaded chicken. Serving Our Lord says, cough, cough, making a comeback here in North Arkansas. Got some family and friends being diagnosed with it. The quarantine is now in effect with them. Quarantine, friends. Yes, that's still here. Eye roll. Eye roll. Only a matter of time before the schools request masks again. Yep, that's where we're going, friends. just like the Exxon Valdez was a big issue because it was politically expedient, and the Soyunion in the Middle East, not a big deal because it doesn't push forward anyone's agenda. Suddenly the cough is going to be big again because it's pushing the agenda that they want as we go into this election season. This is from a viewer. Had to get a second survival job, and easiest was to get at Starbucks. And I'm a tea fiend, so it works. Anyhow, this Grandma Moses can throw a mean latte now. Turns out I'm the oldest barista at 51 in our store, and they have a hard time hiring and keeping the youngins. When you have people having to get a second job, second survival job, third survival job. That's what a lot of people are having to do these days. And kudos to anyone who's willing to work hard in order to put food on their table for their family and for themselves and to take responsibility for themselves, right? Hopefully things work out for you. Anna says, I live in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. My grandson is almost a year old. He was born with some issues and is on seizure meds. His father also. It has been taking weeks each time to get refilled. It takes forever. They keep getting told that it's low supply. And we're hearing that about seizure medications out there particularly are in low supply. That and the semi-glutides that may make you make bad decisions. That's coming out in the news. I know a lot of us were probably looking at those things, and I know a bunch of you guys are on them. Just statistic-wise, a bunch of you guys are taking them. Be aware of the downsides and these studies that are coming out right now on the downsides of these new pharmaceuticals. Oh Dear Mama says, it had been a while since I had gone to Lidl, which is like an Aldi. I've been shopping at the commissary mostly, but wanted to stock up on pasta, and Lidl usually has the best prices. I walked the store like normal and noticed in the meat section, they blocked out the bottom shelf and replaced it with advertisements. So instead of 4 shelves of meat on each aisle, they only have 3 shelves of meat. So they went from 8 to 6 shelves. Will anyone notice? I don't know. Mary says, Northern Wisconsin, our local Walmart no longer carries 2, 5, and 20-pound bags of GV rice. I've told you that this is coming, friends. They see you and I as the enemy. If you think that them going after you on Facebook was a mistake or some random thing, no, friends. People who are pushing self-sufficiency, personal responsibility, are an enemy of the new state. And they know that we like to stock up on rice and beans. And if they have an opportunity, they're going to take that opportunity away from us. Sooner or later. Because we're getting more than our fair share of food. Gordon says, I'm a self-employed home improvement contractor. I come to the landfill every other day to get rid of my trash, and there's usually a line that you have to wait 30 to 45 minutes outside to get in. And that line is not there anymore. It's completely gone. And when I'm going to the building to trash transfer, there's hardly anybody there this morning. There was no one there but me as a contractor. And the last Friday, I was completely alone in the building. For Friday, usually that is completely impossible. So yes, I can see work is slowing way down. Mortimer, I watched online for pasture-raised eggs to be back in stock at my local Sam's Club. Yesterday I saw that they were in stock, so I went there to find a 2-carton limit. Today they are all out of eggs except for the 15 dozen box. This is near Birmingham, Alabama. So we're seeing those outages of eggs and limits on egg stock across the United States now. We're warning you about it, and if you're not seeing it yet, friends, you're going to see it very shortly in your neighborhood, in your stores. So if you need eggs to stock up on, best do that now. Denise says, corn crop failures in mid-Missouri. Thanks, Steve. Evolved Mist says, while talking to a friend, taking a friend to Sam's Club on Thursday in central Iowa to help them through my membership, I got curious from your report earlier on eggs and decided to go look and see if they had the limit. And they have the limit of 2 packages per customer, and the price is also increased. Robert, yesterday at Food Lion in Centerville, Maryland, talking with an employee in the dairy aisle, he told me that the only current shortage was with light and heavy cream, half and half, and some of the cheeses. Again, that's Maryland. Eleanor, Western New York, all Walmarts are out of stock of Walmart brand dry whole milk powder. So if you want GV brand dry whole milk powder, out of stock online as well as in the store. Last week I added a few to my shopping cart. This week there is none to be found at any of the stores in my county. Angela, thanks. This is a heartwarming one. Follow-up, we spoke with Angela earlier this week. Thanks for reading my manual can opener comment about making sure that the younger generation is getting more proficient in things that we may not think are as important, like how to use a manual can opener, different models and stuff like that. Thanks for reading my manual can opener comment. I play your videos while I'm driving. The 15-year-old I mentioned was with me. He picked up on your added comment about teens learning to cook, the basics at least. He is working at a restaurant as a busboy. 15 years old. I don't know. A lot of people I know have late 20-year-olds who are not working or who are not learning good skills, right? But he has also learned to help prep some foods. I'm happy about this because it seems parents are talking to the wall, but now bosses are teaching them similar tasks. I'm proud of him. And this just kind of goes to show, generations are made up of people, right? And people want to be like, the new generation, blah, 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 blah. The new generation is made up of people. People who can make choices and who are being influenced by older generations. That's one of the things that always kind of rankles me a bit. Like, this new generation, they're just terrible kids and stuff like that. It's like, who are their parents? Oh, your generation. And that's a comment worth something, isn't it? The reason why a generation is the way it is because their parents of the previous generation raised them that way. Think about that one, right? All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us this Saturday morning. Hopefully you have a great day today, get some good stuff accomplished, and focus in on the things you can do. And hopefully you didn't watch any of the Democratic National Convention like I didn't. I've just been watching clips and stuff like that from commentators and some of the people that snuck onto the floor to interview people. There's some interesting videos out there for sure. Matt Walsh actually snuck onto the floor of the convention, and some other conservatives and libertarians did as well to interview people. And there's some interesting stuff coming out for sure. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there. As promised, I'm going to put a link up here to RFK's speech on YouTube so you can watch that for yourself and listen to the truth that he has to say. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.